Well, all right. Welcome back to this next episode of the Mad Maker Show. And it's what episode is it? Let's see here. Let's see.
36.
Episode 36. So, guys, welcome back. Today we have Bryan Bales, and we're going to interview him in just a couple of things. We're at episode 36. Wow, dude. That's a lot of makers we've interviewed. Yeah, JP?
Yeah.
Can you name a few if you remember off the top of your head?
Yeah. Chad, Andrew McMillan, Kingsfine Woodworking, Matt Huss, Doc, Sophie. Oh, blimey.
The Groot.
Daniel Hardew, Rebecca the Groot, Dan the Man Command, Bales tonight, me. Who else have we done? Wow.
30.
Yeah,
House
Mr.
Hack Shack.
Martinez, House Hack Shack.
The other dude that's associated with him through his podcast.
Brett McAfee.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, there's been a few.
Javi's Wood Shop.
Who?
Ryan Bitters.
Yeah, Ryan.
Who else? We've got a few.
Yeah.
Come on, wow. You can't think of them. Amanda Duke from Rustic.
In my defense, that was you and Doc.
Oh, that's right. Which, by the way, Chip Builds, Michael Zerker.
Yeah, Chip Builds, Michael Zerker.
Docomo.
Yeah, DJ.
Your buddy,
Jake Thompson.
Sarah from
Sarah Connor
from Wartooth.
Wartooth Designs. Jake Thompson.
We've had Heath Knuckles. Jessup.
Yeah, Jesse.
How about that crazy skull dude from up in the New England area, David Gagne.
And Shogun Jimmy. I thought you were talking about when you said crazy skull guy.
You knew exactly, didn't you? Oh, you thought, okay, that's another crazy skull guy. King's Fine Woodworking.
Yeah, said that one.
Oh, you did? How about, did you say Lindsay CNC?
Mark Lindsay? No, I didn't say Mark.
We did say Bernie Solo, right?
No, I didn't say Bernie either. But that was a good interview. He was running his whole house on a very small generator.
Did we say the Groot of all evil is making?
We didn't.
Uh-huh. So we've interviewed a lot of makers, and there's a community of makers, a lot of the folks out there. We'll ask JP now after he does his introduction, see who's out there. But we've interviewed a lot of people, and it's a community of makers, people that create ideas. They just bring them into reality, right? Through woodworking and all sorts of things. So there's a thing that's happening now, and we're kind of documenting all these people and their connection. They're all different and yet have a common thread. So that's what the Mad Maker Show is about, documenting this time and seeing what people's thoughts are, seeing if we can take away some inspiration and whatnot. So my name is Eloy. I'm one of the hosts, and over there we have JP Woodwork.
Well, hello everybody. Do you want to quickly check the inside chat before I carry on, Eloy?
Yeah.
Check the inside chat.
I'm so my response, I thought you meant the outside chat. OJ, thank you, dude. Too awesome, dude. I'm gonna go link OJ. I appreciate that, buddy. OJ's awesome. Wood turner. Continue and I'll link OJ.
Okay, right. Hello everybody. I'm sitting here as always with my Mancrafting mug. My YouTube channel is JP Woodwork. Twitter and Instagram is JP_Woodwork. I'm one fifth of Makers International Podcast. Both websites are sponsored by Stephen Ian at Harnell Media. It's found at harnellmedia.com. A couple of things to bring up. Pat Lapp has just passed 20,000 subscribers, so well done, Pat. Cole Jacobson has just passed 200,000 subscribers. So well done, Mr. Jacobson. Cacao. And I done my very first, I don't know, art piece, if that's what you want to call it.
What is that? A stirrup?
I don't know. I think it might be an ankle rest for when I finally eventually get to have my surgery done. A footrest. No, it's a Scott Grove inspired piece. I've put the bark inside out.
Ooh.
Turned the bark inside out and scorched the outside, and then mounted it to a piece of pear wood that.
Is that where the British would put people's heads and then they have a guillotine?
Well, like that.
And they spoke French and stuff?
It's called like gurning.
The British spoke French.
Well, we brought English to England in 1739 and a half, and all of it, right? No, is that?
We brought them? Yeah, we brought them.
Yeah, something like that.
I love that piece, dude. I love that piece. It's art. Freaking awesome, dude.
So yeah, that's about everything I've got anyway.
Can you show it one more time, please? Just the top wood is what?
The top wood it's basically just a fir from the backyard. So it's not really nothing special. Like a conifer or something like that. I'm not sure what the middle bit either. I think it's African blackwood.
And how did you? So you did say that the bottom was no, not mango.
No,
Pear. How did you? Yeah. Did you leave like a tenon and then stick it in? What did you do to connect?
Yeah, I drilled a hole in there and a hole in there, and it's just like a dowel, if you like, but it was all turned at once.
Dude,
I've actually. There you go. That's how it's put on, and it's drilled out there. Can you see?
Yep. Love it. Dude.
That's how it's held together.
And you're gonna do another one and a video?
Yeah, I'm thinking about doing another one in a video, but a bigger one next time.
Dude, I'm not gonna, but I'm gonna steal that idea.
If you can do it before me, then go for it.
Oh, there's a timeline to steal the idea? It's not like you're gonna be able to come after me.
I'm already working on it, Eloy.
Yeah, it's first to marketplace, Eloy.
Yeah. And people, snatch some from other people. Like I'm gonna build myself some costumes soon.
I think you should.
All right, so that's it, JP?
Yeah, that's it.
All right, and who's out there?
Who is out there? Right, we've got Tom Spillane, Katie Dotson, Jim Dockrell, Mark Lindsay, John from Be Happy Woodworking, and Honeybee with his peanut butter. Awesome Wood Things, which is Matt Huss. Katie Dotson, Steve Nealon, which is Harnell Media. Jim Bashir's. Oh, excuse me. Shelley Cole from Know What Mums Knows. Escahera Woodworking. Danny Gillespie says, "What's up, Eloy?" Red Smith's out there. OJ Woodworking Crafts donated $10.
Thank you again, dude.
Who else is out there? Let's keep scrolling up. Doc's out there. Who else is out there? Seems like that's it.
All right.
Oh, Katie Dotson and Sterling's out there as well.
Hey guys, so thank you guys for hanging out with us. Listen, I just for all you guys here and whoever comes like in syndication and they'll see your comments on the side, all that stuff, and that's a cool new feature. So I'm digging that about the lives. You know the story behind this Mad Maker. The theme is we put the sort of the theme with the Mad because there's a little bit of that or a lot of that depending on your point of view, and it's a good thing. So you might or might not know the guy that we're about to interview now, and his name is Bales, Bryan Bales. And so if you don't know who he is or you do, let us know if you've seen him around or not. I just like to know, taking like a little, poll to see how many folks know Bryan Bales, because I don't know who the heck he is. He just showed up, one day and knocked and said, "Hey, dude, I'd like to be interviewed and stuff." I'm kidding. Bales, I'd like to welcome you to the Mad Maker Show.
a pleasure to be here with you, Jamie.
As always good to see you, Mr. Bales.
So
Eloy, swivel. Leave my friend alone.
Sawed off.
You know, the other day, I don't know who we were talking to. It was a bunch of people, and I think it was Doc. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but he said, you know, every time Jamie and Eloy are interviewing and stuff, and like the guest gets a little onery and stuff and playful and this and that, and he pushes back on Eloy. Jamie automatically, full throttle, takes the side of the guest and like just stirs it up to the. I think was it on the Mad Maker show we talked about that?
Does he ever take your side? Is he impressionable to a fault, or he just sides with the guest?
Yes, he sides with
only the guest.
Yes, completely. It's just sort of his thing.
I like it.
You would. So, dude, again, we welcome you to the show. There's a lot to get to, so I want to start off with give us a little bit of background, where you were born, sort of neighborhood or area, an anecdote or two, just to leave that impression, and whatever you'd like to share, just so we have a little bit of placement.
I was born and raised in Des Moines, Iowa, in a suburb next to a bunch of cornfields. And I was a child of the 80s, but a teenager of the 90s, I guess you could say. And I think we've talked before that my childhood was basically like the movie E.T. You know, just riding bikes all day and playing.
Without E.T.
Yeah, without E.T. that you know of. Because I had a reptilian. You know, riding bikes, shooting guns, Legos, video games, Atari, Nintendo.
Yeah, I feel that we relate in that aspect, although there's been very upsetting interactions with your points of views reflecting back on the 80s, because we're kind of the same age, if not like exactly the same age.
1975.
So yeah, we're exactly the same age, plus or minus whatever month. But yeah, so just to let you guys know out there, and I don't mean to interrupt, Bales, but I just wanted to add this, that we also have a podcast that has Bales, Doc, Ryan. Let me say that again. Bales right here. Ryan Bitters from Waylight Creations. Doc Jared Hildebrandt from Doc Jared Hildebrandt, and myself. And it has nothing to do with making, and it's I guess social commentary, entertainment, pop culture and whatnot, and it's such a blast.
It's just like four guys hanging out by a fire pit, drinking some beers and sharing some stories and some anecdotes.
Yeah, so we have a lot of things.
Just think, blazing saddles, eating beans whilst watching Wartooth Designs on Twitch.
Exactly.
That works. Yeah. Oh, our art was penned by our actual promo art was designed and drawn by Sarah from Wartooth Designs, and it's us in potato. It's ridiculous.
I was going more down the phallic jokes route, but yeah, you can go with that.
Phallic jokes. See, well, just the same. So continue, dude. So cornfields, E.T. So this is going for the record. This is so Bryan Bales. See, this is how it's going to read when people do a Bryan Bales. Cornfields, E.T., Atari, Nintendo.
Yeah, it's about right.
So how was your household, family members and whatnot? Did you have brothers, sisters? Do you have,
mother, father, one brother, younger brother.
All right. Well, does that take care of everything? Is there anything else? Because you don't live where you grew up.
No, I stayed in Iowa. I went to college for 3 years, and then I left Iowa at the age of probably 21, and I moved to Massachusetts to attend Berklee College of Music, and I've been here ever since.
Nice. So talk to us a little bit about the music. We see you. There's twofold of a situation, because you're a maker you're a musician, and other things, and you've mixed the two um, publicly. You've shown builds that you've done, which are freaking amazing, which we're going to get to, and you might have some photos that we can full screen and talk about, but like really freaking cool stuff and other stuff. But you also play the drums.
Yep. So I started getting into music at around age 8 or 9. Whenever you're in elementary school and they introduce you to the music program. So it's 4th grade, I think. And I wanted to play drums, and they told me I couldn't play drums, that I needed to have a 2 years background in piano. But I stuck to my guns, and then they tried to push me into trumpet. And I just kept saying, "Nope, I'm playing drums," and they made me take like a rhythm test, like by rote. So the band director would play some rhythms and see if I could, pantomime or repeat them back. Finally, he let me play drums, but that just starts on a little snare drum, playing in the concert band. It's kind of lame.
But
And
they
I
they
want,
they didn't want you to play everything except the darn drums.
yeah, because they had a rule that you had to play piano for 2 years before, so you had some kind of foundation in rhythm.
Okay, go on.
But whatever. So they let me play drums, but it was just a solitary snare drum in concert bands, and the thing was almost bigger than me because I was a tiny little kid. Probably like 50 pounds soaking wet. I probably was as big as ET. So I just stuck with it through middle school all the way through high school. Once you get to high school, things open up more. So I'm in concert band. I'm sucking at jazz band because I was just not interested in jazz. I wanted to play rock. I end up in marching band. I start doing like solo competitions.
That's your only saving grace in my book for my that you liked rock, because everything
Rock.
you're
Yeah.
just a disaster complete. But rock has saved the day.
Yeah, so I'm a
Go
rocker
on.
because I loved
But
Animal from the Muppets, and then I loved Tommy Lee.
and that see,
Right.
but things went downhill after you reflected back. But we'll
Yeah.
talk about
Yeah.
that later.
Yeah, we'll
So
talk about that
continue.
later. So then high school was coming to an end, and I really didn't want to go to college. I just wanted to be a rock drummer. And my father's telling me that I'm an idiot and I should go into computers because that's where the future was. And he was right, by the way. So you were right, Dad. But I stuck to my guns and I was like, I just want to be in a rock band. And my counselor kept saying, you got to go to college because your grades are too good. It'd be a waste. You should go into a career and do music on the side. And I just kept pushing back and ended up finding out that a friend of mine was going to go to the University of Northern Iowa because they had a music program. So he was going to go to college for music. And, a flashbulb goes above my head. I'm like, what? I can go to college for music? So I meet with a counselor. She pulls all the information, gets all the applications, helps me fill them out. I get accepted, and I'm off to college for
Awesome.
percussion. So now I'm playing in wind symphony, percussion ensemble, marching band, opera, which was actually a thing. You're down in the pit playing the score to the opera. But I'm also playing solo snare drum, solo marimba, solo timpani, and solo vibraphone. And I'd never played, mallet instruments or timpani.
Nice.
So it was a bit of a chore. You're doing all your general education, crank through my homework, and then I'm practicing 5 to 6 to 7 hours a day in a room by myself, trying to learn 4 mallet marimba solos and timpani solos and being horrible. And that went on for 3 years. Your 4th year, you have to do a senior recital, and I was petrified because I didn't want to, totally bomb. I was gonna bomb because I'd only been playing marimba for 3 years, and I still wasn't great at sight reading. I wanted to be awesome. I wanted to play drum set. At the same time, at that school, a guy was going there for composition major. Turned out he, in his younger days, had gone to Berkeley, so he started whispering in my ear that I should go to Berkeley for drum set. So I applied to Berkeley, flew up for an audition, got accepted, and transferred after my junior year. So Berkeley, I went to school all year round because summer was cheaper. You could cram the same amount of credits for cheaper and quicker. And I ended up graduating in like 7 semesters. A lot of the gen education transferred, and I tested out of a bunch of the traditional harmonies and ear trainings. And then I just tried to make a go as a musician for a couple years after that. Well, several years after that, actually.
Nice. Do you find that musicians, I've had this experience with musicians growing up. It's always freaking like you're trying to make a band, and especially when you're younger, and it's always an ego battle. The singer doesn't want the guitarist to, and then the guitar. It becomes like more like a freak show, because everybody wants to be like U2 or freaking REM or whatever the heck, and as opposed to focusing on making the whole sound tight.
A band is like a 3 to 4 to 5 to 8, whatever way marriage, and it's ridiculous. It starts out fine when you're all happy, and it's a perfect democracy, and everyone shares their ideas. But then people start getting lazy, and you start clashing. People start challenging each other's authority. The better way to do it is, I hate to say it, but
Dictatorship.
hit dictatorship. That's the way to do it.
Yeah, I've thought of that too. It's funny, but like that's why a lot of pro like acts hire musicians.
Yeah.
Here's a paycheck, play the part.
They'll start out as a band, equal shares, right? And then they end up getting pissed off at each other. They quit. And the last guy standing
Owns the band.
Owns everything. And then he just hires members and doesn't give them full shares. That's what
Yeah.
a lot of people do. So I've taken the other approach, and I just have become a hired gun. You make the decisions, I learn the tunes, and I charge you more than you'd pay a full-fledged member.
Yeah.
But I just come in, do what you want. I don't challenge you, and I just leave.
Yeah. And that's actually an important thing, because having one person agree with himself or herself is a big deal. Even at the level of yourself. 2 people, it's getting complicated. 3, 4, 5, you're looking for a problem. And that's one of the biggest issues with musicians. So on the tail of that, you have this making going on. I don't know if I should ask you directly at the offset, or give us a little bit of background on how you got into the making thing. But okay, I'll do it like this. I'll just say that we'll talk about the fact that you make custom drums, snares, very creative. We'll touch on that. But before we do that, can you tell us how you got into making, like first steps when you were young or whatever?
So young, it was just by way of the usual Legos and constructs. I could say my dad didn't do any kind of making or home repair. He was a computer nerd. My uncle, by way of marriage, was a farmer / carpenter. So he built houses, decks, all kinds of stuff. And when I got to like age 10, from 10 to 16, every summer I would go stay with him for about 2 weeks. And he would work me like a dog. Spraying beans, baling hay, cleaning out pig pens, castrating pigs, which was quite traumatic. He'd take me to some of his job sites, showing me how to build walls and decks. So that's where I got my first probably taste of making. As I was leaving for college, when I was going to go to the conservatory for percussion, I wanted to have like a custom case for holding all my mallets and drumsticks, but I didn't want to buy one. So we went out to the machine shop, and he just grabbed a bunch of scrap plywood and handles. And I basically kind of explained to him what I wanted. He sketched it out real quick on a notepad, And within 2 hours, he had just cut things out and whipped it together, and I was amazed. It was just crazy that I could spew something out. He could draft nasty little sketches, and we would have this thing at the end.
Awesome. That's a key moment, actually.
It was key. But then I went, to college for 3 years, and then I flew to Boston, so I was living in an apartment. So it wasn't until I was 32 that I ended up buying a house and could actually start working on anything. So my personal making journey probably started with DIY.
Around the home, repairing, upgrading.
Exactly. Crown molding, ripping up a bathroom tiles, putting in ceramic flooring, patching drywall. Just started with the simple stuff. Then it stepped up to building my own fireplace mantle, demolishing walls, illegally doing plumbing and electrical.
Did you find the like I did? Because it's similar to me, because I started with I think a lot of people start with the DIY repairs around the house, and then all of a sudden, well, I'm gonna build this little thing. Like my thing, I think one of the first things was a pedal guitar, floor
Pedal board?
pedal board,
Yeah.
and then like a cigarette, ashtray pedestal thing. So do you think that boy, what was the question I was going to ask you? Oh, the question is, did you feel like a little bit of that excitement, maybe not exactly, but that you find in music? Like, did you find something of appreciation creative wise from that moment that your uncle and all that did that resonate on that level? Like, oh, this is something else as far as a discipline, or do you even see it that way?
I didn't see it that way at first, but it still amazed me that he pulled that idea out of his head and just made it. I mean, the DIY, I was doing something, I had a purpose, right? I was fixing something or improving something, but after a while, that started getting boring and grinding on me. So I wanted to have like a creative outlet. And I had started getting more and more tools because I'd buy whatever tool I needed for any given project. And I was kind of like, well, what else can I make to take a break from window trim or, drywall? So I started up with like a bandsaw box or, a pallet wine rack or something simple. How I ended up going to the drums is because my long-term goal was I wanted to make my own custom drums and start a drum company. And at the same time, a buddy of mine was working for Harmonix, who was a video game company that made Guitar Band or Guitar Hero and Rock Band. And he was making oddball instruments for the company. So he started making drums out of his house, like out of a spare bedroom. And meanwhile, I just keep making jigs because I have that weird mind that I didn't want to start making drums until I had the shop perfect to make drums. Like I wanted every tool set up so I could just go into production. And he's more like a fly by the seat of your pants guy. So he's like, well, if you're not going to use your shop to actually make stuff, I'm going to come use your shop to make stuff. And you can just keep making stuff to make stuff. So my buddy ended up making drums out of my shop before I ever made drums out of my shop.
Interesting.
Right. So then it came to the time where, am I going to start a rival drum company with my friend, or should we just team up and try to go at it? And if you've seen any of the Calderwood videos, that's the guy, Bill. And I started making YouTube videos for Calderwood on the Calderwood YouTube channel.
Wait, was this before?
It was before the Bales channel ever existed.
Okay.
We were just randomly making drums, and I was making videos and just.
This is pretty cool because now we're seeing
stuff.
the pathway. That's pretty cool. Continue.
So the drum thing started getting more and more popular. We did a contest, like a merger with Zildjian Cymbals. We did a contest where high schools submitted why they should have new equipment. We picked winners and we made new equipment for all these schools. And I did a full five or six video series on it on the Calderwood channel. We also made a 2x4 drum for a 2x4 woodworking contest. I don't remember who hosted that. It was the same year that Tim Sway made the bass out of a 2x4.
Was that like 2016 early?
It was a while ago. That's how I ended up meeting or started talking to Tim Sway.
Oh, so you connected through that with Tim Sway? That was like the first other maker. I mean, you probably had some bump in.
That's how I met Tim Sway, and that's how I started talking to Steve Carmichael, because I think he did the 2x4 guitar.
That's right. Okay, now I'm seeing that. Yes, you're right. Yep.
So Calderwood, it was progressing, but my house was turning into a drum factory. The basement was blown up. The dining room table was covered in drums. The kitchen was all parts. It was insane. So Bill ended up having to get a shop to move out because he was running out of space. And around that time, I started getting tired of doing the production work. I wanted to do more artsy work. And that's how I ended up opening up the Bales YouTube channel. Because I wanted to have my own voice.
Well, so there's a couple of questions I want to ask you about the Bales channel, and at this moment, certain decisions that you've made, present day time, and your thoughts behind it, just so that we know, because well, it's an interesting thing to me, and I'd like to know more. But before we ask that and continue on and show your projects, JP, if folks out there want to ask questions or they already have questions, let us just.
Yeah, we've got plenty of questions. The Red Smith would like to know if you can teach him how to play the drums.
Sure. Is he coming here or am I going there?
There you go. Red Smith, you got to answer that. Sterling Davis has a question. He says, what made you an introvert?
I think I've always been an introvert. I've always been really shy. And people always ask me how the heck I can be a drummer. But to me, I'm at the back of the stage and I have like a defense. I have a whole castle wall blocking me. And I really don't, even when I'm playing gigs, I really don't talk to anyone. I was joking with Eloy and Ryan the other day, saying that most of the time I don't even talk. That the podcast, I talk the most in a week because I have an office job, but the office is empty. So I do most of my correspondence over email and IM. Actually, this is the most I've talked in 2 weeks, probably right now.
It's exhausting.
Yeah. So I've always been an introvert, but I have like a spice of being an extrovert. So like I can act all weird and wacky on a camera when there's no one around, but if there's anyone watching me, I'll kind of clam up. And even if I'm in a group of people, I can only stand it for so long. And then you'll start seeing like a wash over my face. You'll just see the total attitude change and I just have to get the hell out of there.
Okay.
Is that a byproduct? Let me just ask, is that a byproduct from growing up in a small place and like?
I don't think so. A lot
or
of
you're just freaking strange.
A lot of creative people talk about that.
Okay. All right.
The creative
mind. I thought we were getting at some truth here, and I just wanted to dig deeper, so some insanity, but
no.
Sorry,
no.
JP.
I mean, you know, if you want to get really dark, insanity and paranoia and delusion and depression running my family, if that's what you're trying to get at.
Well, but you're being watched as we speak, not only by the folks out here in the chat, but right behind you there's a dude there just staring you down.
Oh yeah, that's true.
All right. Sorry, JP.
The Red Smith says he will come to you. He goes, it won't be easy going there with a drum set.
Oh, that's a good point. And he doesn't have a drum set.
No.
But he could forge one. He'd be the first guy to have a forged drum set, I bet. Or
that'd be pretty cool.
A leather drum set, which is on my list, so don't do it. Well, not a full drum set, but a snare drum anyways.
Right. Question from Shelley at Know What Mum Knows. It says, what is Bale's favourite Atari game? Hers was Frogger.
Frogger. Okay, worst Atari game we should start with, and that was E.T. Because that game sucked.
Yeah, that game sucked.
And Indiana Jones was infuriating. You know, I used to have one called Crystal Castles that was pretty cool. But I don't really remember what the hell you were doing. You're like some bear or whatever collecting gems. was kind of Qbert-esque, I think. Atari wasn't my jam. I think Nintendo was my jam.
Qbert was awesome.
Yeah. But man, Nintendo.
Yeah.
You remember when you found out that code to get the 99 lives on Contra and you and your buddies just schooled that thing?
Yeah, dude. Contra was a fun game. So was wait, there was Contra. I liked Castlevania. I liked Metroid. It was all good, dude. It was all good.
Akari Warriors when you're like on the last level. And
oh, Kid Icarus. I liked Kid Icarus a lot. I don't know.
This was Akari Warriors. You were two dudes, like Rambo dudes with machine guns walking through the swamps. And then you'd get a little too excited and you'd screw your buddy over because he'd be on left screen and he couldn't get out. He'd be stuck and you'd have to reset the whole game.
See, I don't think I played that, or I'd have to see if I can remember.
Well, if you and I played it, you'd be the guy stuck on the side of the screen.
Yeah. How about Rad Racer?
Never heard of it.
Top Gun?
Nope.
Yeah, right.
Right. Next one, we've got Matt from Mawson Wood Things. It says, why does Bales love Instructables so much? He says he knows the answer, but it must be shared.
You know, Instructables was one of the first websites that I found. And it was the year that I made the animal Halloween costume. And the only reason I found it is because I was scouring the internet to see how many Halloween costumes I could enter to try to make my money back, or how many contests I could enter. And that was back in the day when you could just upload every picture into one step and it didn't have to be multi-steps. So I had no idea what I was doing and I didn't place it all. And then I just kind of liked it because you were behind the scenes. I could work on them at work while I was getting paid. If my boss sees this, I totally didn't do that. But I could just edit it and take my time. And then I started entering contests and getting really successful at it. So it was addicting, I guess you could say.
Did that help you with your channel?
I think Instructables was before the channel because I actually went back a while later and I made videos for some of the projects I'd already had to embed the videos.
Oh, interesting. All right.
But after a while, that's how I started cracking the code of Instructables and finding out what worked and what didn't. So for a while there, I was placing in every single contest I entered in. And I'm probably part of the reason why they changed all the rules. So sorry, everybody. You used to be able to enter one project into 3 contests. Now you can only enter into 1 contest.
So you ruined it for the rest of us.
Sorry, man. I was saving projects in draft, and I was waiting until they fit multiple contests, and I was entering and I was schooling everybody.
Do you recommend, even to this, I find it somewhat useful. I don't go all intricate and stuff, but just doing step-by-step, generalized to give an idea. Some people might not dig the fact that it's not intricate, but it gets people to go to the video and stuff, Do you recommend people use the Instructables to help with their channel and what?
I think you should definitely use Instructables because for whatever reason, their SEO is very strong. If you search any of my projects like Zipper Drum, Instructables is probably one of the first links that actually comes up. The YouTube video might come up first, but
yeah. All right.
But yeah, it's very strong. And if you embed your YouTube video, you get automatic traffic. In fact, most of my YouTube traffic comes from Instructables.
Do you do it? Do you place because I'm sure all of us are interested, or a lot of us are interested. Do you place the video at the top or at the end of your whole thing, or does it either twice or?
So on Instructables, I'm a bit of a smartass and I write stories even if they're not true about the project. So I'll start off with a little story to catch everyone's attention, and then I'll embed the video within step 1 at the bottom of step 1. But then I also embed the video at the very end. So if someone has taken the time to read all the way through it, they don't have to go all the way back up. I hit them again, like right in their face with it.
All right, good.
Right, next one, yeah?
Yep.
There's actually 2 questions from Julian Martinez.
Oh, Julian, no.
The first one says, "Why did you get your nipple pierced?"
I got them both pierced. When I was going to the conservatory, my last year of the conservatory in Iowa, a friend and I decided we were just going to do random things at the end of every semester during finals week. So one semester we went to 4 concerts in 7 days while studying for finals. And Eloy, you might like this because one was Leonard Skinner, one was Queensryche with Tesla. I don't remember what the other 2 were, but some were badass. And one of them, my car got broken into and my stereo got ripped off, so that sucked. Another semester, we went skydiving.
That's craziness.
Which was a trip. My judo instructor had a hookup, so we did it on the cheap. And another semester, we decided to go get our nipples pierced for whatever reason. I already had 9 earrings at the time, so I decided to move on to a different body part.
Skydiving, I can sort of, but the nipple piercing, was it painful?
Yeah, the first one didn't hurt at all. So my confidence was up. I was like, that was nothing. And then the second one, oh, it was like a scorpion pinching on your nipple.
Which one, left or right?
I think I did the left first. The right one was
so guys, just for the record and from this point in history on forward forever, it's the right nipple that's more sensitive. Continue.
No, it's not sensitive. It just hurt during the time.
More sensitive. More sensitive. Continue.
Right, continue then, yeah. The second one is, when did Ben Affleck become your favorite Batman?
I hate Ben Affleck's Batman. Michael Keaton is my Batman.
I knew there'd be jabs from Julian. Anyway, on to the next question. Question from Javi's Woodshop.
Javi.
He says, have you ever come across the aluminum Q36 exclusive Mace space modulator?
Yeah, I made one. I think it's in the attic.
A question from Jim Bashirs. Does Bryan's twin have his own YouTube channel?
Eloy knows I have a second channel.
Yeah, and take this opportunity because we have other things to get to. Continue with the question, but use this opportunity to explain to us, if I could interject for half a sec. You have an alter ego situation, and I just want to. It's a difficult thing to sort of wrap your head, put it in a nice, contained sort of offering as a question. But I've had discussions with people. I've never told you this. In random comments, because folks talk, oh, did you see what this guy made and this and that. And I had a conversation with some makers on one of the groups, and I said something like, no, man, that's just him using camera trickery. And some people were like offended, like, no, dude, that's his twin brother. And come on, dude, like they literally, like, you have convinced a lot of people that you're a twin.
Yeah, I think I fooled some people.
Yeah, well, a good amount. So why that whole thing? And it fits perfectly. But can you give us a little bit, whatever you want to share about it?
So I hate talking to the video camera. I actually get a lot of anxiety from trying to do it. And if I take 1 or 2 takes and I'm stammering, it just gets worse and worse. And I get frustrated. And then I say, saw this, even though Jamie said I can't say that. Saw this, it doesn't work. But
that's only bad in Europe.
No, that's actually a correct term. You can
it is? I can say that?
Yeah, you can use that.
Camera can go sawed off.
Yeah, there you go.
So it's frustrating for me. And then I tried to do voiceover, but I wasn't really digging that either. And I saw that Jay Bates was kind of doing the twins thing. And then I thought back to another favorite Michael Keaton movie, Multiplicity, where he had the comedy. And quick tangent.
I like pizza.
Quick tangent is what the first guy I found on YouTube for woodworking was Mark Spagnolo, when he was doing all those weird skits. And I really loved the fact that he was infusing comedy with, projects. So that's how the twins came about. I I think one of the first ones, it was just an outro and just like a dude shaking a shaker trying to annoy the other dude. It wasn't until Pat Lapp had his 3,000 sub celebration that I had them talk to each other. You know what? You remember when Pat did the thing where he ate the big pool of poutine and then he fell asleep?
Yeah. He says something like the fat Canadian or something like that.
So I had one guy, totally shitting on Pat, and one guy that loved Pat. And that was the video where Paul Jackman said, I really like that number 2 guy, because number 2 was the asshole, and number 1 was, the Nimrod, just the funny, happy-go-lucky dude. That's how they ended up getting their names. You can thank Jackman for that.
That's interesting. Also, it's cool because, that's all brand new stuff. I don't know if you've ever explained yourself before. This is a first here, right?
I touched a little bit on it on MakerCast, but not in depth. So the reason they came to be is because I didn't like talking to the camera. I wanted a way to do a quick intro to what the project was and why it was, and that was my solution.
That's awesome, dude. And it's fun too. It's also a great thing on video, and plus people think that you're twins. Like, absolutely. If you look, you never cross paths. You might hand something. You never do one of these things, or have you?
I tried, but it's really difficult. There's a couple Makers Wanted skits that we did where I had one guy lay an object on the table and then I'd redo the seam and the other guy would grab it.
Yeah.
But I haven't quite mastered how to get one to actually hand something to a guy, or how to high five, or how to cross.
All right. Oh, last thing about that whole thing. So that connection, Pat Lapp, the Tim Sway thing, I just want to put that out there. It's an obvious thing, but I'll just say that it's interesting how, and this goes to the community and how I kind of look at it, that we're all sort of, we're connected, but how one influence occurs and it bounces to another thing, and then connections are made and it spider webs out, and all of a sudden you have this intricate universe, which is how I look at the maker community, right? And intricate, sure, there's people like Bales that introduces a new angle to things with the music, right? And particularly drum making and stuff. Yes, there might be other people doing like guitars, but everybody adds to this whole, spider's web sort of timeline that we are. And it's just an amazing thing. I just always repeat that. Portal Woodworks, thank you so much, dude. I'm going to link them, and JP, you continue. Thank you, Portals. David Jones.
Yeah, I've just got one more for the time being. It's not actually a question, it's more of a request. And it comes from Doc. He says, talk about the rattlesnake shake.
Oh, God. The music isn't bad, but the lyrics are horrible. But I used to love it when I was a kid. I mean, that album came out in 1989, right, Eloy? So we were 14?
I was in junior high, and a friend of mine came up to me with the cassette in the locker room. He says, Eloy, come here, check this out. And till that time, I think it was Girls, 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 Theater of Pain that we were trading and listening to, everyone in school. Well, the rockers, there was a bass, like the bro, yo, and stuff. And then there was a rock and and he showed me the album. I was like, can you lend it to me? No, you can't. So it took a little while before he allowed me to borrow it. I love the album, but you screwed that freaking memory up for me.
I didn't screw it up. I mean, you can go back and listen to how crappy it is yourself. Thanks, Doc.
That's it for the time being, Eloy.
Eloy's chatting with babes.
Yeah, I just was posting there in the chat.
Oh, Portal.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So,
no, hang on. There's another one for Julian there. Why do you crush Eloy's musical love?
Sometimes it's just because his musical choices suck. And sometimes I'm just leading the witness for the benefit of the podcast.
Well,
but he does that to me too.
Well, yeah. I'm also guilty, but you don't destroy an iconic 1980s band the memory and feelings attached to it. Like in the podcast, see what happens. The podcast is very disturbing to me, even though I'm a part of it, because Bales tries his darndest to destroy the wonder and beauty of innocence from the 80s. So you'll say, oh, this video game, and he'll totally find a way to, no, that video game wasn't the greatest, or a movie. So that's our scratched podcast. And what can I tell you?
I want to spell it to make sure that they can actually find you.
Oh, yeah. I might have to link it as well.
That might be a good idea.
Yeah.
OJ's Woodworking Craft says, what's your favourite project?
Ooh. We'll probably have to break it up. So, house project, I think my fireplace mantle is still the favorite. Drums. The zipper is probably still my favorite, but it's so damn loud I can't take it out on any gigs. So my sheet metal snare is probably my favorite one to play. Costumes. Marvin was really cool. Mikey was really cool, but no one really gave a shit. And Edward Scissorhands was really cool. For shop projects, I think my Lego table is still the favorite, which has very few views. But I was asked for a buddy to make a table that looked like a Lego for a Make-A-Wish project. So I made a video of it. But the video really doesn't matter. It's just the fact that it went to a kid. My buddy was making a treehouse for the kid, and he was finding other local artists to make things to go in the treehouse. So I happened to make a little nightstand table that looks like a Lego.
Oh, I remember that build. Yeah, didn't one of the buttons or something, if you like, it was actually the light on-off switch in it or something.
Yeah, one peg turns on a light so he could display one of his Lego creations on the bottom shelf. And one of the other studs unlocks a secret panel in the back, so you can store your contraband and your nudie mags from your mom.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, Dan the Maker Man wants to know about the Halloween build this year.
Oh man, I told myself I wasn't gonna do it this year, but I might end up doing it. I don't know. I have a pirate costume that I was just gonna kind of gussy up. Because here's the thing with the Halloween costumes, it became a thing of its own. Like I never meant for it to grow to this proportion. I moved into this house. I was finally in the suburbs on my own, and I figured, oh, I'll hand out candy for Halloween, but I want to dress up. So the first year, I just decided that I wanted to make Edward Scissorhands. So I made full hands and dressed up like the dude. It was very hard to go to the bathroom, but it went over so well that I just did it the next year and the next year and the next year. And it's become crazy. Like I take the entire week off, the week of Halloween off from work, and I just work on a costume. And the last one was Mikey from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And it took me over 100 hours and I barely made it. So it's just getting a little exhausting.
Wow. And are there like prizes in that for like the best costume or something like that?
In my neighborhood? No.
No, so you don't attend a party or something like that? Where
no, I don't go to any party. Like my friend has a party, but no one shows up anymore because everyone has kids. And my neighborhood used to have over 120 some kids, so I'd be like a huge spectacle.
Yeah.
This last year was like 20 people, but still randomly cars will drive up the street. Grown adults that look like you will get out of their car and to ask if they can take a selfie with a dude dressed in spandex, and then they just disappear. It's a little weird.
You could always make one of them furry things.
Oh,
yeah. There's a lot of them going around lately.
Yeah.
Bloody idiots.
But that's why I started entering all the online contests to try to make some of my money back on the materials and the time.
Yeah. You win another camera.
I want to interject briefly here. I want to thank Temple Boom Thank you so much, dude. I also want to take this moment to mention a couple of things. So check out OJ, his videos, his channel. I left the link up there. Check out Portal. He's going to have see, I don't know the details. Maybe Portal Woodworks can tell us in the comments below when the plywood challenge. There's a plywood challenge. And with Portal, there's always prizes. Last year, there was a bandsaw box challenge. I participated. It was a lot of fun. I won a prize. A few prizes were cash prize, all sorts of things. I don't know what the story is with this challenge, but I know what's going on. I just don't know when it begins. He might want to expand on that. And Temple Boy Turning, Stephen Twidell, has the makers make it matter, and it's auctioning off. So you enter on the website and you enter a piece that you make and you auction it off. It goes into auction, and that's the proceeds go to kids in need, special needs and whatnot. But the details, he could write it out and let us know for anybody that's interested out there. It's I think the third year that it's been going.
Yeah, third year, yeah.
As well. So sorry for.
I'm just about to post a link in the chat.
When's the deadline on that? Because I want to get in on one of those.
We need to have Twidell just give us a little explanation on that rundown, and then link it.
We could always get him in quickly at the end of the show if he's not busy.
Okay.
Just quickly. So if Steve, if you're up for it, at the end of towards the end of the show, you can come on and quickly explain.
As well for Portal. As well for Portal, just let us know if that's okay.
Yeah, if you want to shoot us a message, I'll send you the link. And
as well as OJ, if he wants to plug anything, let folks know anything what he's been up to. We'll do that at the end. But we do have to get back to Bales. I know you were, but I want to get to another part of the Bales.
Yeah, Ryan Bitters wants to know how many barrels does it take to change screw in a light bulb.
If you ask Bales number 2, it's just him because he doesn't want anyone around. Bales number 1 would probably come up with a contraption where one stands on a turntable and the other one runs around and turns him.
Anyway, Eloy, back to you.
Okay, so I want to, before we get to the show and tell with the photos, I want to ask you this question. Your shop, where's it located, size of the shop, and just give us a quick rundown of the tools, important tools that you like, just a little bit of that so that we know.
The shop is in my unfinished basement. Used to be a garage at some point. The house was built in 1923. So when I came in, there was like just rotten boards. So I ripped it all out, and it was originally a music rehearsal studio. But as I started getting more into the DIY and buying more tools and getting out of the band life, it became a shop. So a majority of the tools are just consumer grade rigid, just because I'm close to a Home Depot and they were having a big 20% sale and I had a moving coupon and they had the lifetime agreement. So I just went with it. So it's your usual miter saw, bandsaw, drills, drivers, drill press, OSS. I have 2 full-size routers, a trim router. Started off with a rigid table saw, but I upgraded to a saw stop cabinet saw a few years back. I took a few kickbacks and I nipped my fingertips off, but they grew back, so figured I didn't want to risk it again.
Oh, so you got a little bit of the blade action going on the tips of your fingers?
Yeah, well, I took a kickback to the gut because the board twisted and it, did the thing where it twisted and it rides, like went over the blade and it throws it back at you.
Yeah.
So I took a nice gut shot. And the second mess up was me. I was trying to do some thin cutoffs against the fence instead of doing it the smart way and measuring the cutoffs and just ripping them. So it ended up catching again and pulling my fingertip across the blade. I nipped off a couple fingertips. I took real big chunks out.
Wow.
And it immediately went white. Like no blood, nothing, just white.
Damn.
I thought for sure I was just going to be mangled.
Jeez, dude.
So I took it easy, Neosporin, all that. And I didn't touch a table saw for a few months after that. But they fully grew back. So when it was time to look for a table saw.
Is that why you got a saw stop?
Yeah. Yep. It was that, and my buddy was still using my shop. He was building the drums, and I would be working at my office job. And I was just like, if my friend gets his hand cut off, I know he's not going to want to sue me, but he's going to have to sue me in order to pay for his, medical bills and his awesome robotic hand that he ends up getting.
It is a question. And would you have used a table saw if a saw stop wouldn't have been out?
Yeah, I started using it again, but I was, really hesitant for a while. I went out and bought the gripper, multiple push sticks. I'd had a few push sticks before, but if I could fit my hand between the blade and the fence, I did it. I didn't even think about it. Now I won't even do that.
That's what I do. I'll kind of, there's at least that distance between my hand and the blade, at least.
I won't even do that now because that way the kickback happened, it just pulled my hand with it before I could even think.
Yeah. I like push sticks,
Push pads, push sticks. I mean, the gripper's a little overpriced, but I'd rather shell out the $70 than thousands.
Okay, so let's do something. Give Twidell the link, and we'll have Twidell let us know. And right off the heels of that, we're going to go into Bales. We're going to present Bales so he can tell us, go through the pictures while we see it visually and learn a little bit more of those builds and his thoughts on them. And then we have a couple of other questions we'd like to ask Bales as well. But drop that link to Twidell so he could share with us.
Yeah, just sent it.
Okay.
Right, you want me to share my screen there, buddy?
Not just yet. We're gonna have Twidell come on.
Oh, okay.
Talk a little bit about Makers Make It Matter.
Did friends.
Did OJ and Portal say anything that they wanted to say their bit, or did they write it out?
No, they haven't. I haven't seen anything about.
Okay.
Right back. Let me just scroll up to make sure I haven't missed anything.
In the meantime, Twidell should pop up at any time. But in the meantime, how do you see this whole thing, this maker community thing? What are your thoughts on the maker community, and just in a general sense? I know that lately you retracted activity from certain forums, and there's thinking behind that. This is it's a difficult thing because there's many different places you can share your content and builds and all that, and success wavers up and down, and there's trolls and there's this. I don't know if any of that applies to you, but could you give us what's going on and your thought process as of late, as of recent?
He didn't get booted out. He was banned. I know that was Ryan.
I didn't get kicked out of any groups. I mean, it was probably close, but there was a point where I was in, it had to be upwards of 15 Facebook groups. And some of them were the exact same people in a lot of the groups. So one guy would post a cutting board build, and don't get me wrong, your cutting board is great, but I don't need to see your cutting board in 7 groups with the same posting. You didn't even write anything different. You just cross-posted it. So I was getting hammered by all these cross posts, and I was in a few custom drum builder groups, and those guys suck. They won't share any information. they shit on your project. It's not even constructive criticism. It's just for the throat. If you ask a question, they don't want to tell you anything because they think they're the best and they have proprietary information. It was just horrible.
That's the problem with the whole music thing. Not everybody, but there's such. I was about to. There's such ego.
Yeah.
There's such freaking. It's like it's too much, dude. It's like that's what I like about the maker community. Yes, you could have some type of argument, infighting over a thing, process, this and that, but it's open to, oh yeah, you do this, and that. I mean, what's the problem? What's the problem with music? Musicians, it's like, I'm the next Van Halen.
Yeah.
I can't show you how this lick goes because
Yeah.
I'm special. And it's like, oh, give me a break. I've always had a problem with that sort of attitude. I'm just like numero uno, man. It pisses me off.
Didn't you actually have a problem with a drummer once, Eloy?
I've had problems with a lot of drummers, dude, and guitarists and singers and all sorts of, yeah, dude.
I just got tired of some of the infighting and stupid political BS in the group, so I ended up leaving most of the groups. And then I got tired of seeing my friends post about politics and guns. So I ended up deleting the Facebook app from my what are you blowing a horn? So I ended up deleting the Facebook app from my phone, and I didn't miss it. So now I just check Facebook once in the morning when I get to work and once before I leave, and that's it. With YouTube, my views started going down drastically. I think I only get a few hundred views now for videos, but I haven't put out any major build videos. I put out a couple drumming videos and a video where I made some rods, like drumsticks, but they're all under the 1,000 mark, and most of them are under the 500 mark. So, as you know, it takes so long to film a project. It's probably 3 times as long for the project just to film it. And then I'll be in edit for over 10 hours minimum because I'm pulling in original music and trying to edit all the footage to the music to the point where if I drop something, it's in time with the beat or it's at the same time as a cymbal splash. And then I'm doing that crazy dual Bales intro and outro. So
yeah, it's a funny thing. There's a high level of frickin' what you call, production and thought with maker videos, people that do what we do. There's such a high level. There's the actual project. There's the actual editing of the thing, concepts within it. Purchasing materials, and you're using, your workspace to, the electricity. There's a whole slew of things that occur in a maker video. And sure, there's comparables in other, genres and whatnot, but it's not, oh, whatever, I put this together for the heck of it, there could be some of that. That's fine too. But these highly produced videos, and then you place it on YouTube and it just frickin' sits there. I've always contended, and people argue the opposite. You're never going to, but you know what? You have to put your foot down and say, hey, this is what I think. I don't know if it's true 100%, but I kind of feel that it is. That there's frickin' gates and frickin', that hold back certain content, certain area. There's a whole thing that's regulated that we're not privy to. That's my feeling towards it, because you have these fantastic frickin' videos. All you have to do is YouTube, just let them go out on the front page to people that are common interest, minded, and let them. If you get 1 million people that see that passing by, for instance, that Bales video or that Jamie Page new, abstract art piece turned, and you just allow. I guarantee you the frickin' views go up just for the fact that, because on the opposite end of that, you have these crappy video, man picks boogers deep inside his skull, then drinks coffee, decaffeinated. It makes no frickin' sense, but then again, the world doesn't make sense. Long story short, it's a pain in the butt.
I don't do that well on YouTube. My best video is the zipper snare, and it's 125,000. But that's the best I've ever done. But even some of the big dogs are shying away. Steve Ramsey's not on as much.
Yeah.
You'll hear John Heiss saying it's not worth his time to do the project videos. It's easier just to do the ramble in a shop or the quick tip video.
And then he tells you to unsubscribe from his channel.
Yeah, I love that guy. He's hilarious.
He's awesome.
Welcome, Temple. Boom.
Actually, it says Ben. And we can't hear him.
Welcome, Ben. Boom.
We can't hear you, mate.
We can't hear you, Temples. No.
No.
Still no.
Remember the silent movie era? Probably don't.
Yeah.
But he's gonna...
Hey, you know another place where I get really torn up? Not on my body, by the way. Reddit.
Oh yeah.
I've had my Paul Jackman has shared a couple of my projects to Reddit.
Yeah.
Unsolicited. And I just get torn up. I don't even ask for the hate and I'm getting it.
Hello?
There you go.
Eloy was getting picked on by a couple of school kids the other day on Reddit.
Was he?
Yeah. I posted a thing. It's a complicated thing, but I basically posted a thing was similar, not really to the actual Reddit thing. And this guy, what is this Reddit? It was about toys, and it was a toy related theme. And he's like, what has this Reddit come to? This is the end of our Reddit. Look, they're posting statues now. Look, we've got to, and I got pissed at the way he approached me doing that. You approach it, and he might be a little kid, maybe not, but it's insane. The approach is like, how dare you, hey, that you effer, you better listen to that. I'm like, oh yeah. So I went to the rules. I went like freaking, what was that guy, that detective, black and white show back in the day?
Matlock?
Sherlock Holmes?
No, something Perry. No.
Perry Mason.
Perry Mason. I went all Perry Mason, and I went and looked up the rules, and there was nothing in the rules that said, so I posted the rules and said, you are in violation, because he wanted to be that. So I said, you are in violation of being rude to new guests and blah, 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 and yet I am allowed to do such and such. This is a whole... Reddit is full of idiots. What's going on, Temples?
I've never, ever, ever even looked at Reddit. I wouldn't even know where to find it.
You're not missing anything.
I just thought the sound that a frog made.
Reddit.
Oh, you Brits and your humor.
So
Guffaw. Not much. Just back from the workshop, doing the
claw
secret project. Well, kind of secret project, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just said it before.
No, it's not. No. I've put pictures out there, but nobody really knows what it is. It's a collaboration that I'm working on. So
I bet you I can guess.
Yeah, but don't.
Okay. I bet you I can guess, because my imagination is just bubbling. But is that open to the public for them to go see? I mean, you do have it on Instagram.
I have it on Instagram and Facebook, yeah, but I've not really let any information out on what it actually is
so they can,
and what's. They can see the claw, but people are guessing what's going to be in the claw.
Okay, so go to Temple Boy Turnings Instagram and see if you can guess what's going to happen there. I have my suspicions personally. I have my suspicions personally. Like it's on the tip of my tongue. I could just, but I'm not going to say. Go to the Instagram, check it out, and you tell me. Let him know that you can guess or not guess. I'm not going to go any further than that. Have I pushed too much?
No, not at all. I've kind of started as a concept, and I've always kind of dabbled with carving and power carving, but I've never really. Every project I've done has kind of looked at it and thought it could be a lot better, But this one, I'm really, really happy with. It's turned out just how I wanted it, so it's kind of cool. And when you see it with the object in the claw, it finishes it off as well. So.
I'm totally digging it. So on the heels of that, I'd like you to let folks out there know and a few of them might know already what's going on with Makers Make It Matter. But can you tell us how many? I know you mentioned it. How many folks makers are signed up? What it is that they can do, what it's for, and after that bit, we're going to go into seeing Bales's. You hang out with us if you want. We'd love to have you hang out with us. We'll go into Bales presenting, and he's going to tell us a little bit about the builds that he has lined up for us, so we could see and just learn a little bit more. So if you'll do that for us.
Cool. Yeah. So Make It Matter is it's on its third year now. The first year was really successful. Second year, not so successful because we made the leap into turn it into a non-for-profit organization, and that flopped because that takes a lot of money to keep something like that going, with the legal side of it. So I've pared it right back to how it was at the beginning, and so it's just going to be campaigns that I'm going to run through my own webpage under the umbrella of Make It Matter. And basically the way it works is I get a bunch of makers from around the world to make projects and then donate them to Make It Matter. And then I hold an online auction that runs for a week, and whatever's raised from selling those items then goes to a chosen charity or a chosen recipient of funds that needs it. At the moment, we're working on a campaign called Curing Friends, and my best friend Rob Summerlin, his YouTube channel is Woods Summercraft. He's got 3 kids. 2 of his kids have cystic fibrosis, and one of his and 2 of his children are profoundly deaf that have had the cochlear implants. And one of the children that is profoundly deaf is also one of the children with CF. So it's he's got a lot of stuff going on. And his oldest boy, Brandon, his lungs got so bad with CF that he was basically on the final stretch. He's only 21, just heading into 22. And he was on the final stretch of kind of it being over. The lungs were completely shot. And lucky for him, very unlucky for another family, a donor came up and he's just had a double lung transplant. Now, people think that when you get the transplant, that's it, it's all over and it's finished and, you know, you can live your life and it's great. Yes, he no longer has cystic fibrosis in his lungs, but he still has the things that come with cystic fibrosis, which is all the eating disorders. You have to take enzymes to break down the fats and stuff in your foods and stuff like that. He's still got to deal with that. He's also got diabetes and that. But that this has left with a lot of medical bills, huge medical bills. And that will go forward for the rest of his life as well, because the meds that he's on, which are anti-rejection meds and all kinds of medication. It's boring to list it all off, but they're really expensive. So my plan was that launch another campaign. Half of the funds that are raised from this campaign will go towards Brandon and the family to help him out with medical costs and everything that he's going to need going forward. And the other half is going to go to the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, the Canadian Cystic Fibrosis organization, or whatever you call it, because they're the ones that have helped Brandon, and there's a lot of other kids that are desperately in need. So that's kind of what this campaign is called. It's called Curing Friends, and kind of a mixture of friends helping friends in the making community, and also the other flip side of it of Brandon now has a lifetime friend that is no longer on this earth, but is with him with the lungs that he donated to him. So it's kind of that as well. So that's what this campaign is, and it's running for all of this month. you've got right up until the 29th of this month to register and donate a project. And then from the 1st of July to the 7th of July, the auction will run. And whatever's raised at the end of it will go to those two causes. That's it.
Great. So if you you sign up, like let's say you're in whatever part of the world, you give an option, a drop down option. So if folks want to send their item within their area, they have that option, or they could do it worldwide. I mean, there's various options there to pick from as well.
Yeah, so there's a couple of people kind of finding it a bit difficult to navigate the website. I've added it onto my website because it was just really hard to run two separate websites and kind of have the two things going on. So I've just added Make It Matter into my website. It's a drop down box. Click on Make It Matter and the menu will drop down. The very top one tells you what the campaign is all about. And then as you go down, you can sign up as a maker. You can sign up as a bidder to bid on the auction. You do have to be, if you're going to be bidding on items, you do have to be signed up as a bidder because it's the best way to kind of keep track on who's bidding. It's like a regular auction, right? If I just had Joe Public coming in and bidding, they could put in like a $3 million bid and then disappear and I never see them again. So it's just a way of keeping everything on board. If you're signed up, then you can bid. Once you've signed up as a maker, another tab will show of where you donate your project. That won't show up until you've signed up as a maker. And then you go on that and you fill it out and you put pictures up of the project that you want to donate and you write up a little bit. And then there's also a gallery where I'm slowly adding the projects that people have donated, where people can go along and look at the items before the auction comes up. Some of the items are going to have reserves on them as well, so they won't sell unless they reach a certain amount of money. And if you sign up as a maker, you have the option of either you can either pay for shipping worldwide, you can opt to just pay shipping in your own country, or you can opt to have the cost of shipping taken from the final selling price of the item. But that just means that there's funds go to the cause.
Excellent.
So,
all right.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you, Twidell. You guys out there. So if you want to participate, I left a link out there. But you can always go templeboyturnings.com if you miss it there. But that's going to be, the chat's going to be on there because it's a good thing that now we have the chat forever on the sides of our live videos. I find that that's such a great thing because people see your interactions as it goes. They could read and find out more about the people as they scroll through. It leaves the interactive part of it.
Sorry, there was a quick question for Steve. Yes. It was a skewed view 3D said, is this only wood projects?
No, it's open to any kind of art form, any kind of making, any kind of anything. So far I've got I've a lamp that's been donated from recycled from recycled parts. I've got honey in antique honey bottles. Now, obviously, if it's a food stuff like honey, it can only be shipped in your own country. It can't be shipped worldwide. So, all that kind of information will be stipulated on the auction when it comes up. So, I mean, if you take photographs, if you're a photographer, then a couple of nice artistic shots, framed or unframed, it doesn't matter. If you knit, if you draw, anything at all, any kind of art piece that expresses your kind of artistic skill, then get it out there, and I'll be promoting everybody that takes part as well, as much as I can.
Awesome, dude. All right. Thank you for doing that, Temple. And by the way, I just want to show you, we finally got the tool done.
Awesome.
It's got a bare little nub at the back, but what are you gonna do?
Ain't nothing wrong with a bare knob.
Hey, you're right.
What, B-A-R-E or B-E-A-R?
Wait a second. You're gonna have to clarify that though, Temple. Please clarify that, because Bales just hit us with a sidewinder there.
Hey, what they're into.
All right, so stick around. We're gonna go into. So let's go back to Bales here. Have you met Bales, by the way, Temple?
I think I'm not sure if I've been a hangout or
No,
before.
we just commented in passing.
Oh, right, yeah.
You've never had the pleasure.
I have now.
Bales is a little crazy, but then again, so are you. Actually,
no, I watch his videos. I follow his channel, yeah, for sure. But I've never met him. Yeah.
Through the interwebs or Hangouts. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna present Bales. I want to go through. He's got a gallery and sort of give us a little insight into the projects that you do, and so folks can learn a little bit more. And plus, we're recording it for posterity, and we'll do a write-up. I've been following up on the write-ups that I had been lagging on. Plus, there'll be revised videos in a condensed fashion coming up, and little segments where we promote the makers that we've interviewed on the Mad Maker Show. So there's a lot of stuff. Plus, there's baseball trading card cards that we're making and will be making, right? It's going to be pretty freaking cool. So just creative stuff within the context of us as makers. So I'm going to present you, Bales, and if you'll screen share, you can present to everyone. You can
Let's see here.
bust out with some photos.
Ooh, that's like Inception. Oh man, we totally synced that up, didn't we?
You're taking us into the Twilight Zone.
Oh man,
come on!
That was a good one right there. All right, can you see that? How's that?
Yep.
So that the drum I was telling you about that we did in the 2x4 challenge, that was it.
That's badass, dude.
So that's made out of a single dimensional 2x4 and just regular hardware that you get at Lowe's. And it sounds terrible. You can't.
It sounds bad.
You can't put very high tension on it because the rims won't hold up and it's very soft wood. If you had done just a stave shell and then put regular hardware on it, it would sound better. But it's more of a display piece.
But you can play it.
You can play it, but it doesn't sound very good. It sounds pretty dirty and like you're hitting a paper bag. But it looks cool.
I don't know, man. I'd like to hear the sound of that. Do you have anywhere where you can hear that?
Yeah, there's a video on the Calderwood YouTube channel.
All right.
So then I went, someone asked how many drums I've actually made. I've only made about 6 or 7 drums on my own. And then I've made a handful with Calderwood, but I don't make a lot of drums. I need to get back into it because there's a drum shop local to me that said I can put some stuff in there on consignment. So we'll probably give it a shot. This is an old airbrush trick where you spritz water on the surface, and from one side you do a dusting of white spray paint, and the other side you do black spray paint, and then you walk away and you let the water evaporate overnight.
Yep.
And what you end up with is the paint just kind of settles down and it makes it look 3D.
That's freaking awesome, dude.
And then you hit it with lacquer because if you touch it, you'll smear it like graphite in a pencil. And I know that from experience, and you'll have to do it all over. So don't do that. Is
that a thin veneer or laminate sheet that you textured, or what's going on? You know how sometimes drums have, like a wrapping around.
Oh yeah. This is plywood shell stock that you buy from Keller, and they're out of New Hampshire. So that's just plywood, primed, painted black, painted the stripes of blue, did the water effect, and then several coats of lacquer.
How thick is that, the shell?
It's probably under a ½ inch.
Okay.
Probably even thinner. Probably like 7-ply. What's next?
Very cool.
Oh, so this one I didn't make for me. I made it for a young friend of mine for his birthday. His grandfather and I conspired. I have a video of this on my channel, and the older dude is this kid's grandfather. So we built it together, and then we gave it to him as a surprise. But I liked it so much that I made my own. But I used gray, and I have a video on this on my channel too. Then I decided, after seeing my buddy Bill do a brocade, I wanted to do one, and I chose pink.
That's trippy as heck, dude.
So that's just a plywood drum, and you put double-sided tape. I used what they call killer red tape. So it's like it's what they use in the automotive industry when they put detail, like dashboard kits and stuff. It's really thin. It's like 3M, but it doesn't have a lot of sponge to it. It's not very thick. So you run the 3M tape around it, and then you just lay out the fabric. And that's just silk from your local fabric store. You buy it by the yard. The video of that's on my channel. And that's the drum I use for all the weddings because I just think it looks cool.
Yeah, it's badass.
There's the zipper drum. So
yeah, that was awesome, dude.
There's a thing where it's called a split vent, and it's usually two parts of a shell separated, and the lugs space them apart. So it looks like the whole drum is just two floating sections, but I wanted to kind of make it a little more artsy and make it look like the drum was being unzipped. I get a lot of shit on YouTube about this one.
Really?
People saying that's stupid. They don't understand that split vent's a thing. People saying that it's dumb because it doesn't actually unzip.
I bet you they're all musicians.
Oh, I don't know what their problem is. So here's a view where you can kind of see some of the rotation. So where
Dude, bad to the bone, dude.
So it looks like it's being unzipped. But that thing, because the shell is open, it's so loud, I can't take it to any weddings. Because I look at it, and the sound guy yells at me to turn down. That's how bad it is.
Really?
Yeah. Then we go into the sheet metal snare. And this was more double-sided tape. And then I just used aluminum flashing that you'd use around your roof.
Yeah.
So I wrapped a base layer, and then I just added patches. And all those nails are just kind of fake. They only go halfway through the shell. And I get a lot of shit about this one too.
Really?
People say that I put too many holes through it and I killed the shell and it's too dead. But
dude, see, that's what I'm, dude. That's what I'm telling you. That whole musician thing that I spouted off on, it's true. They're so freaking pompous.
Oh, they get carried away. But for most of these drums, there's a build video on my channel, and then there's a follow-up video where I take it to my buddy's studio, and you can hear how it sounds with a real mix and a room, and I turn it on with the music, and I cut the music out, so you can hear for yourself. This was for the Quickcrete Challenge 2.0 last year. I don't know if you remember when Ben Ueda and Quickcrete put that on.
Yeah.
So I made a form with sonotubes and poured a concrete shell and made a 10-inch popcorn snare, which was heavy as hell. That thing's 9 pounds.
Jeez.
And it sounds like crap.
Really?
Because drums need bearing edges, so the edges come to a point, and I couldn't cut bearing edges on it to save my life. I'd tried to use a grinder, and it would hit a piece of aggregate, and it'd just fly across the room and take a big chunk out. So it was good enough to look pretty, but I couldn't get it to sound good. And I didn't win.
But wait a second. It doesn't sound. I mean, do you have an example of how it sounds?
No, I didn't. I never made a video of it because I was on such a tight deadline to make the contest.
Right.
And it sounded so bad, I ended up taking it all apart and turning it into another drum. I was going to revisit it, but I took this one apart to make this next drum.
That's a trip.
Yeah. So I decided that the cardboard tube looked cooler than the concrete anyway.
I kind of dig it too with the yellow and whatnot. That's freaking perfect in my opinion.
And I was hoping to get some attention from, a certain company out of this one.
Right.
But nothing happened.
Well, wait a second. So, and what did the all-knowing musicians say when they saw this one?
One of them said I should make one out of a KFC bucket. So one idea like that went on my list.
That's a good idea.
KFC bucket. And then I thought about laminating plywood shells with cereal boxes, like a custom drum wrap. That'd be kind of cool. All right, so that's it for drums. Let's go to Halloween costumes, shall we?
A McDonald's drinking cup.
Well, that would be too small.
No, you just make your own version of it.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
I'd like to see a resin drum.
Oh, wow.
You know, I talked to Peter Brown about that, and he said that the resin wouldn't hold its shape over time. It would end up, sloughing's probably not the right word, but it wouldn't stay totally round.
But could you use a thick PVC pipe on the inside of it?
Maybe.
Yeah, like an outer coating, or even half wood, half.
So cast the resin round a tube, and then
keep the tube or get rid of the tube.
I'll keep the tube in it as
stability.
Stability, yeah.
Yeah, because once I saw Keith or Heath Knuckles, his burls, his tasty timbers.
Keith Knuckles is Heath Knuckles' third cousin, twice removed.
Keith Knuckles, yeah. Keith Phalanges is Heath Knuckles' cousin. So, here was my first Halloween costume where I stood out.
There's a quick question about your drums.
Yeah.
Quickly. Jim Dockwell wants to know: do you tune the upper and lower skins the same or different?
I tune the bottom head to touch, so I put like a pretty firm tension on it where I can barely press it, and then I tune the top until I get where the drum wants to resonate. So no, some people tune the top and the bottom the same, and some people tune them like a third away. I don't do that. I just tune the bottom to feel, and then the top until the drum sings where it wants to be.
There you go, Jim. Surprised you answered that since it's been a novel all the way through it.
All right, you see my skeleton there, Eloy?
Yep.
I didn't make it. The first year I moved in, I dressed up like that, and I stood in the yard like a statue, and I waited until the little kids came up to the bowl of candy, and then I moved.
Was it effective?
I stopped doing it because some of them took a digger and almost smashed their face on the concrete. So,
yeah, dude, you know how frightening that thing is? I mean, if you look at it as a kid, you look at it, oh, it's a statue. If it moves, that kid is...
Yeah, I didn't want to get sued. So there was a close-up of that. So here's the first year I made the Edward Scissorhands.
That's awesome, dude.
So those scissors are made out of AZEK, like PVC trim board, if anyone uses that on external... for rake boards, fascia boards, door moldings. That's
Where do you get that stuff?
You can get it at Home Depot now, or Lowe's, Home Depot.
What's it called?
AZEK. It's PVC board. Open cell trim board. It's really light, so that's PVC, wood, sprinkler. Is it in
the plywood section?
You might find it with the poplar and the maple.
Okay.
It's actually quite scary how much you look like him as well.
I did before I started getting fat.
Another 80s iconic movie.
That's right. So these actually slipped on my hands. That's why I was saying it was hard to, go to the bathroom. So.
Yeah, that would be a terrible disaster.
Yeah, it was a terrible idea. So there's a couple close-ups. It's just
That's hilarious.
Sprinkler pipe. So this was a huge hit. This is the first year people started just randomly taking pictures with me, but kids were still scared.
Well,
so I wanted to do something a little more kid-friendly, so I tried Bender. but none of the kids knew who Bender was.
Which, by the way, means something totally different over here.
Oh,
yep.
Yeah. It was...
And it has a different meaning over here.
I don't want to, but I want to, but I shouldn't. But what's the meaning?
Means homosexual.
Okay.
And here it means a lot of drink.
Oh,
yeah.
You're going on a bender. Yeah.
I went on a bender. So
yeah.
I like that one better.
So if you said I went on a bender in England, you'd be in trouble, and in Ireland it'd be, oh, I got you.
No, bender means over. That means the same over here as well. So if you went, I went on a bender.
No. Yeah, I probably did. All right.
West Ender Bender. Okay.
All right, so this thing's just made out of concrete or sonotube cardboard tubes and random cardboard. And I made, the rusted mouth because when he doesn't drink beer, he rusts.
That's hilarious. Where do you see from?
Through the mouth.
Okay.
Then the year after that, I tried to make like an animatronic skeleton arm, but it didn't really work. Like a puppet arm. There you can see it. So if you pull on the rings, the fingers move. But
That's badass.
It wasn't that great, and the kids were scared. So after this is where I tried to go more kid friendly, and that's how we got the animal.
That's scary too.
No, but kids kept calling me Elmo because apparently they don't see the Muppets anymore. All right. So animal, and this was the first one I started entering into contests
on Instagram. On
Instructables and random other, housewife websites. But that's just made out of like an acrylic globe wrapped in felt, styrofoam for the eyeballs, and feathers, chicken feathers, and felt for the body.
That's awesome, dude.
So the kids liked it. And there's the shot of the head. That's just, those decorative lamps that people put in their yard? That's the globe that goes on top.
Oh yeah, and the eyes, what were those made?
Styrofoam balls.
Oh, go back to the actual.
So I'm looking out of his mouth. Right above his tongue is where my eyeballs are.
And all the fur or feathers?
Chicken feathers from boas.
Nice. And the teeth. Oh, go back for a second. I'm sorry. I'm just curious. The teeth?
The teeth is more AZEC trim board, PVC trim board.
All right.
All right, so the kids like that. So then the next year I did. Oh, there's a naked animal before I added the feathers. So the next year I did Oscar because the kids like the Muppets.
Oscar the Grouch.
Yeah. And this is where I hit my stride on Instructables because that was grand prize.
Oh wow!
I think I won 3 to 4 contests online, so I made my money back on that guy. And I made a video of him on my YouTube channel, which is pretty stupid, but. And that's Oscar's head before it had fur on it. Then what did I make? Oh, that's Oscar's body. Then you'll recognize this guy.
Yep. That was badass.
So Marvin the Martian. And I had to wear shorts because the spandex was a little too revealing. So that's another acrylic globe and then EVA foam and a spandex suit that just no grown man should wear.
Looks like you got Lenny standing behind you.
Yeah, is it?
Yeah, well, on top of
on top of my head, yeah. That's his gun. And that's his parts. And this was last year.
Monkey.
So that's EVA foam covered with spandex. And this is the one that took 100 hours and killed me.
Yeah, that's just fantastic, dude.
So this year I'll just be a box of macaroni.
Oh, so you're confirming that you will do one this year?
I probably won't do anything this year because I'm lazy.
Yeah, but you should probably. So it's not no.
Yeah, probably.
Right, it's not a definite no. It's a maybe.
All right, let's just whip through these. Bandsaw box. This was in, Dave Picciuto put out that bandsaw box book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was in it. Jamie Page knows this one.
Yeah, I gave you a shout out for that on the podcast as well.
And this is one of the first videos where I started getting my neighbor involved.
Yeah.
Yeah, where I go outside.
Didn't he grab his crutch or something like that?
Yeah, I pointed the video camera at him. I was like, hey, I just need you to react. In the video, I'm going to come out and I'm going to yell at you across the yard and ask you if you have any balls. And I just want you to do a few things. And one of the takes was he grabs his crotch. Oh, that dude. He's like 75 years old. He's great. That was my camera track. So for filming videos, I found that moving the tripod around the shop was a real pain in the butt. And it was always in front of the tool that I needed. And a few times I almost kicked it over. So I decided that I wanted to be able to hang my camera from the ceiling. And this was my tripod solution. And then I made plywood tracks. So I can just move the camera around anywhere and I don't kick it over. One of my first projects at the house was this bench I made out of reclaimed fence posts, a la Tim Sway.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. I like the rustic stuff.
That's still in the yard. It just looks a lot more gray. Cornhole boards with sliding scoreboards, because I try to add something I've never seen to a project. I don't want to make something that everyone else has made. Diddly bow. This video and this project is how I met Matt Haas.
Oh, tell us.
Because Matt Haas was doing the first show where he was sharing maker videos, and this was the video that he shared. I think it's also the video that got him a copyright flag.
Really?
Yeah, because I use my own movie, and CD Baby always gives me a copyright infringement that I have to fight.
That's hilarious, dude.
And
also, you have content on CD Baby. I didn't know that.
yeah, some of the original music was distributed by CD Baby, so they'll immediately put a copyright flag on it. Workshop jigs. That's a center finder for discs, center finder for dowels, wooden lightsaber made out of dowels just for the hell of it. Coaster set that looks like a snare drum. Edge marking gauges, so you don't have to always reset your combination square. You just grab one of these. It's just quick and easy. Like that, if you want a
Very
1
cool.
inch offset.
Yep.
This desk, this is the office desk I'm sitting at right now. That's just MDF with plywood edging, and then I painted it to look like faux metal.
Yeah, totally, dude.
I do some sculptures, just random
That's awesome.
stuff.
Yeah.
There's another one. Beer flights or beer caddies. That was for an Instructable contest. Gnome doors.
Yeah, dude, you're totally you. So just to interject, you totally So you pass off like I don't. You talk about all sorts of strange stuff, and you have all sorts of '80s things, infused into your work. You try to play it off as straight shot, and then you're doing all these strange, eclectic things. I freaking love that stuff. Whatever.
A buddy of mine was trying to start he was trying to put these little doors on random businesses around his town to try to spark some tourism. He wanted people to go around and try to get, collect them all and get pictures.
Yeah.
So he asked me to make one. I don't even know if he ever put it anywhere.
Yeah, it's trippy.
This got picked up by bobvila.com. So it's a gramophone using a transmission funnel.
Oh, that's awesome.
It sounds like poop, but it looks good.
Does it sound crappy?
Yeah, it sounds all mids.
Oh, okay.
There's that Lego table I was talking about. So
Nice.
it looks like a Lego brick, and then the back opens for your nudie magazines. Oh, plane made for Steve Ramsey's Maker Care.
Nice.
So that it has a rubber band in it, so you can wind up the propeller, and it looks like it's kind of flying. That's on my mantle. And there's that mantle I was talking about, my fireplace mantle.
Yeah, it came out great.
And that's all poplar. It was made for like $100. Pallet wood coffee table, a la Paul Jackman.
Badass.
More pallets. I think we're almost at the end. This was a recent Instructables project, just pixels, like a puzzle, so you can make whatever picture you want to make.
What are those pieces made out of?
Just 3/4 inch plywood, 1 inch by 1 inch. One side's dyed with black leather dye, and the other side's natural. So you just flip them over and make whatever image you want to make. And then another beer caddy. Oh, then a router fence. we have to be at the end soon. Oh, there's my scissor hands on display on the mantle. And that's just a shut the box game. I think that's it. Yeah, that's it.
All right. I'm gonna take you off of.
Just have random stuff, man.
Yeah, bad to the bone, dude.
Your shows are getting longer, Eli.
An awesome showcase of. Well, you know, I don't know. It just happened that way with Bales. What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
So,
That's my talking for the month.
you might want to what's the word?
Unscreen share.
Unscreen share.
People will see all the nudes I have on my computer.
So yeah, dude. So let me ask you another
Oh
question.
yeah, there's a dick.
That's my face.
So let me ask you another question here. Any words from your perspective and what you've learned through time, words of inspiration, someone that wants to be a maker, make things, or wants to take it to explore, people that want to be adventurous and do things, but yet maybe they don't quite feel like, I don't know, they're doubtful and life, and I'm not good enough, and all these negative, people that want to do great stuff, explore, adventure. Is there any words of wisdom that you could share through your experience?
Nope. Man, if I'd say if you want to make things, just make it. Just figure out why you want to do it. When I jumped into YouTube, everyone was on YouTube, and I thought it looked fun. But from the get-go, I said to myself that I was only going to do it for my own entertainment. I wasn't going to do it to try to make money. And as soon as it became not fun, I was just going to stop. So I kind of treat it like original bands. I make music. I make the music I want to make for me. I'm not trying to make anyone else happy, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So do it for you, what makes you happy and what inspires, in a nutshell.
When it comes to not being good enough, I see every flaw in every one of my projects. So I haven't taken any of the drums to the drum shop for sale because I don't think they're good enough. I've taken them there to be assessed and to get some price points on them, but like I don't think they're good enough to go in someone's home because I don't want it to be scrutinized.
All right. Well, I just have a thought on that. You are not the first, and we've interviewed how many people now? 36 people through the Mad Maker Show.
This is the 36th.
And you'd be surprised, even in the after show or even live, mentioning it to people, but a lot of folks, a lot of makers have that same sort of perspective where they're like, well, I see all my own flaws. What if this? What if that? I mean, I would be daring enough to say that we all have that because we're conscious of what we're creating and that things can be better. So I've seen that from a lot of people. It's an amazing thing, and yet, if you were to put those drums out, people would freaking buy it like yesterday. The uniqueness, So interesting. Anything else to add to that, or?
I don't think so, man. You only go around once, so do what you want to do.
Yeah. Heck yeah. All right. So, Bales, did you enjoy the show?
Not really, but I like seeing Jamie.
Yeah, likewise.
Well, so let me ask you this: would you like to? Would you come back and see Jamie?
Yeah, maybe like in 2 years or something.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Are there any places you'd like folks to go check out your work? Any shout outs or any final thoughts?
I'm only on YouTube and Instagram as Bales 5000, and then Instructables as probably Bales 5000 or Bales.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
It's 5,000.
That's it. I scaled everything down.
All right. Cool, dude. So listen, thank you so much for joining us. Let's go to JP.
I've got nothing else to say.
All right. Temple Boy. Boom.
Temple Boom.
All right. So, guys, I appreciate you coming and visiting with us, hanging out, and learning more about Bales. All the links are below in the description. And, well, we wish you a happy week, and we'll catch you this next week. And I believe Jamie Page will
I'm
be
off
visiting.
today, but Doc.
So, Doc's filling in?
Yeah,
All right. Well, why didn't anybody tell me?
I did. I told you before the show.
Oh, yeah, that's right. All right. All right, guys. So, have a great week. Catch you next time.
Later.